Hello again, Michael Scharf here in your next orientation video. And in this video, we're going to do a brief video on recommendations and student evaluations. And I know I've mentioned it in previous videos, but we in the MBA program and the business program at Limestone, we are very interested in your recommendations to make the program better. I know that the downside to making a recommendation is you don't really get to see the benefit of your recommendation. But on the other hand, you are going through a program where tons of changes. I think almost every class so far has been changed based on previous students' recommendations. So you're living with the after effect of previous students' recommendations. So if you have recommendations, we are definitely open to them and changing the class, the program based on your recommendations. Certainly, if it's a recommendation about a specific professor or a specific class, I would recommend that you put them on your recommendation. If you don't feel comfortable or you don't think you're getting anywhere with the professor, you can certainly include myself and the MBA office on it, and we will get it to the right people. And I would say, even if it's after the fact, 6 months after, or we've even had recommendations come back and email me a recommendation that somebody thought of like a year after they graduated. Hey, I was thinking about this and I really think that this would improve the program if we do something like that. So I guess just keep the recommendations coming, and certainly don't hold off on giving us recommendations, even if you've all the way through the program and graduated. Next is that I wanted to briefly discuss was student evaluations. After every class, you will have the opportunity to evaluate the class, the resources, and the professor. And I can't emphasize enough how highly I want to recommend and ask every one of you to make sure that you fill out these evaluations. Again, it is another method of you being able to make recommendations or identifying areas that really need improvement. I will say that in the past, we have gotten some feedback from students that say something to the effect of, well, I didn't fill this out. The professor had issues, but I didn't want to fill it out because I was afraid that I would have the professor later and they would hold it against me. I will tell you that that is highly unlikely for a bunch of reasons. The first one is it is unlikely that you will have the same professor twice during the MBA program. There are a few of us, and I'm one of them, that you could have twice because I have taught 2 different classes in the MBA program. So it's possible that you have me twice. But for the most part, every other class, you only have one of those type classes. So whoever was your marketing professor, you will only have that person once because there's only one marketing class in the program. The economics professor, you'll only have once. There's only one economics, there's only one finance, there's only one accounting class. So most classes, you only have one. So that professor you'll only have once. If you are a management and leadership student, it's possible that you'll have me, for example, twice, once in ethics and perhaps once, because I have taught every 18 months or so, my rotation comes up where I teach the leadership class. So it is possible that you have me once in the first year and once in the second year. However, even if you do, and even if you don't think I'm a good professor and you rate me as such, the odds, the odds of me going back and figuring out what class rated me a year and a half ago and who was in that class, and then figure out what % of the students are in this second class, it would be a stretch. Secondly, I will tell you what the professor can see, and that is how many people rated me at each level. The student evaluation is a Likert scale from 1 to 5, and 1 being the worst and 5 being the best. So I can see how many students rated me a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but that's it. So if 3 of you rated me a 1 and 14 a 4 and 8 a 5, that's really all I can see. I can't see who rated me any of those. Additionally, I can see any comment that you put in verbatim. So I guess there is a way for me to tell if you put something in the evaluation that only happened to you, then obviously I know who it was that wrote that. I have had students that actually write their name in there, and then obviously I know who wrote it. Usually those are more positive comments than negative, but I have had students put their name in. So really, there's no way for me to know who rated me what level. So I hope that allays some fear. A, it is unlikely that you'll have any professor twice. Secondly, even if you did, there's no way that they can tell. And the third thing is, you have until the last day of class, and for the evaluation, the last day of class is week 8 on Friday. So you have until week 8 on Friday to fill out the evaluation. And the reason they do this is they don't want to extend it any further, because they don't want your evaluation skewed by what grade you got in the class. Likewise, I can't see the evaluation until I turn in grades. And again, the feeling is so that I can grade you based on your evaluation. So really, you have until Friday of week 8 in each class to fill out the evaluation, and the professor can't see it until they submit grades to avoid any issues on either side. So I'm hoping that that this helps you understand how the evaluation process works, because it is critical. We do want to know if we have a professor that perhaps is not meeting the standard. We certainly want to know that, and we want you to fill that out. And again, and it's not to get the professor fired or anything like that, but it is so that his supervisor can counsel him and check in the future and in the next class that they are making improvements or fixed whatever the issue is that the students identified. So I would say that it is a critical step. You are a critical part of making the program better. And obviously, if the professor does not improve, then we do need to do something about that. But that is not the first step. So I don't think anybody needs to worry about that, other than if this goes on, then we do need to take some kind of action so to improve the program. So again, I'm hoping that I hope that this encourages everybody, both if you have recommendations to make them, but also if you have any issues, certainly fill them out on the evaluation, but you can let us know in addition to filling out the evaluation. And I know I've focused on the negative, but I would also add to that we want to know, and we want you to fill out evaluations for outstanding professors as well, because we want to be able to reward them and know who y'all think are the best professors in the program. So certainly, I don't want to just focus on the negative aspect of this, but we use those evaluation tools to highlight the best professors as well. I'll also throw in there as a final thought, normally the MBA office sends out to all current students once a year a request for you to identify the top 3 professors in the MBA program. And they then compile those so that we can recognize and reward the top 3 vote getters from your all input on this. So again, this is just a way for us to recognize people in front of all their peers as being identified as one of the best professors in the program. So again, when you get this email, and again, we only do it once a year, but when you get this, I would again encourage y'all to send that out, because we truly do want to recognize the best of the best while also counseling those that maybe need some help in an area. So I hope this helped, and I look forward to seeing you either in the next orientation video or in class.